Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making for you today is deep fried calamari. This recipe was requested by one of our viewers as well as stuffed squid, but today we will do deep fried calamari with really nice fresh squid, and I'll show you how to cut them into rings, how you would marinate them, your batter that you would dip them in. So let's get started. So first what we will do, we'll get started on making a dry rub for the squid rings. I got 3 squid already cleaned in this cold water, and I got icy cold water because it's got to be really cold for it, and 2 tablespoonfuls of lemon juice, freshly squeezed or bottled lemon, it doesn't make a difference. So you just put it into that, let it sit for a bit. And then after, when we cut it in rings, I'm going to put it back into that cold water bath with lemon juice. So what we're going to be using for our dry rub, after we take it out of the lemon and water, is 1 cup of flour. And then we're going to be using, putting in there 1 teaspoonful of sea salt and 1/2 teaspoonful of freshly grated black pepper. I'm going to be putting in 1 teaspoonful of onion powder, teaspoonful of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoonful of paprika. So just mix that around with your salt and black pepper in there and flour. That's your dry rub. So what we're going to do next is cut our squid into about 1/4 inch rings, and if you want it larger you can, but I'm going to show you now how to do that. Okay, so the very beginning of it, at the tip, you can discard. Now, of course, if you know squid, it's got an opening on the inside, and you can do this many ways, and today we're going to be deep frying them. And as you can see, I'm just going to have little rings like this, and after I cut them, I'm going to put them back down into that lemon water and let it just sit in there for a few minutes before we start deep frying them. So continue cutting them till you get them all cut. So while I'm cutting up these squid rings, I'm going to ask you a question. Where did you have your first or your best deep fried calamari? And if it was in Newfoundland or somewhere else where you're living, let me know what it was and where it was. And then I'm going to share with you today my favorite, one of my favorite places in Newfoundland that I've had deep fried calamari. Okay, so I got a nice little patch here now of squid rings, and I want to share with you where one of my favorite places was to have deep fried calamari, and it was at Chelsea's Fish and Chips, and they also got Chelsea's dining room area and a live lobster pool at their Treats from the Sea place there, where they sell all sorts of seafood. Okay, so I'm going to put this into the lemon water and continue talking to you about Chelsea's Fish and Chips. They make the deep fried calamari right on the spot when you order it, and if you love deep fried calamari, you're going to either way and eat it because it's so good. You also can get, of course, fish and chips there and live lobster if you want it. They also got a lobster truck that they go around different parts of Newfoundland, and they're located in Lewisport on the road to the Isles. And I got to say, absolutely delicious no matter what you order there. And this, I'm going to say, cold water bath is one of their secrets in making their deep fried calamari. I kind of got that much out of Marilyn when I spoke with her. But I'll definitely leave you her location and link on my Facebook page. So let's get back to deep frying these calamaris. Okay, so I'm going to get a new slate and set of tongs, I wanted to just wash my hands and get ready for this next step. So what I'm going to do now that it's been soaking for a few minutes into this cold water and lemon bath, I'm going to rinse all of that off there and let it just lightly drain, and then we're going to toss it into our dry rub. Okay, what you would also need to make these delicious deep fried calamaris is a deep fryer. And I don't recommend doing it on a stove top with open oil, but if you're comfortable with that, you can. You need oil that's good for 350 degrees and higher, which would be a vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil, and then have it about 350, 375. When it gets to that temperature, that's when you'll put your calamari into the fryer, not overcrowded, just maybe 6-7 pieces, and then you will let it cook or deep fry for about 3 minutes. So you'll need to put the timer on because you don't want these delicious squid rings to get tough. So now we're going to put them in our dry rub. Okay, so you just toss them in there like that and then just flick it around. You could use a spoon just to roll it back and forth, or just toss it back and forth. You can also do this in a baggie, and that would work as well. So now I'm going to check and see if my fryer is ready, and we'll get these going. Okay, while I'm waiting for my deep fryer to get a little bit more hot, just got about a minute left before it clicks in for me. Another question as well on top of the one before, have you ever had deep fried calamari? And getting back to my favorite place, or one of my favorite places, because I promote all of Newfoundland when it comes to their cuisine. They are located on the road to the Isles in Lewisport, and it's near Twillingate if you're ever visiting Newfoundland, and they're open from May till Labor Day. And on Canada Day is a big celebration there. They have local talent, and they get all this seafood that they're cooking, and the live lobsters, and you know what, I can't say enough good about it. I'm going back there again this summer to get myself some of this deep fried calamari. So let's get them in our deep fryer. Okay, so when you take the calamari up out, or the squid rings first, up out of the dusting of dry rub, shake some of that off and then put it down into your deep fryer. Continue doing this until you put about 6 or 7 in there. And again, back to one of my favorite places to have this deep fried calamari, that was at Chelsea's Fish and Chips and Chelsea's dining room area. So hopefully you'll get to visit there if you're ever visiting Newfoundland, or if you're living in Newfoundland. Put them right on in, and they're there for 3.5 minutes. Okay, so this is what they look like. I'm going to let them rest there on the side for just a second and put them into a bowl with some paper towel just to take some of the oil off and get frying the rest. They're delicious. Okay, I'm going to toss some more into my deep fryer to get the rest of them frying, and then I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking out the last of my deep fried calamari. I got some here on a plate. I got some side of coleslaw, some dipping sauce, and seafood sauce. And all of that I'm going to show you a little closer. Okay, so I'm going to dump these in there as well. And now just look at this. Isn't that absolutely delicious? I'm going to toss a little bit of sea salt over the top and going to garnish it with some green onion. And then I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice over this. So I'm just going to cut up some lemon. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of wedges of lemon. I'm going to put a little sprinkle over the top. And as you can see, this is how quick and easy and delicious. I'm actually going to taste one of these, and it was 3.5 minutes. That's all it took to deep fry these delicious calamaris. Delicious. Okay, that was delicious. Now I want to have a little sip of my tea. I can't brag enough about this deep fried calamari. Certainly, if you never had it before, this is how quick and easy it is to make it. Not a lot of steps whatsoever. I don't promote deep frying it on a stovetop, but if you do have this, or maybe a friend, you can get together and cook this up and have a nice feed. I'm going to also thank the viewer that requested this deep fried calamari today, and I hope I did you proud. And now if you haven't made it, you'll be able to follow these simple steps to make your own. And also, if you'd like to have the coleslaw with your deep fried calamari, that's also on Bonita's kitchen on the traditional Newfoundland cold plates. And you can just type that in, it'll come up, and there's a recipe there for the coleslaw. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel. And on YouTube, up at the top right hand corner, there's a subscribe button. Hit the link and it'll prompt you to what you need to do. You can also visit me on my Facebook page and on www.bonitaskitchen.com. And you can also send me a message on either one of those sites and answer that question that I asked earlier in our episode of Deep Fried Calamari. And you can also visit Chelsea's Fish and Chips. I will provide that link for you as well if you need to look that up. So right now, from my kitchen to yours, you have a wonderful day. So as you can see, I got a nice little patch of shrimp, I don't have shrimp, shrimp.